All right.
All right, so I guess Four Fires, there's two different ways to look at it. And from the bare bones perspective, what I guess more than anything Four Fires is, it's a 52-week project where every week on Friday, I release a new short story. So whatever is under 7,500 words, or whatever the stipulations are. And it's a story that I write in a week, and then as soon as the week ends, it hits Friday, I publish it, and then I move on to the next thing. And that's really cool, but the thing is, there's more to it. Like, the name in general, Four Fires, kind of came from this feeling that I have that I can't always articulate what I want to say when I'm with all my friends. Like, I think some of my friends have these really cool stories, and they're always able to articulate them so well, and everyone laughs, and it's really funny, and sometimes I feel like I can't do that the way some other people can. And these stories are sort of my chance to do that. It's sort of my way to be able to sit down for a second, write what I wanted to write about, and then show someone and be like, no, this is what I was talking about. And it works really, really awesome for me, like, as a medium, because it sort of gives me that feel that I'm actually, like, able to tell you, like, this is what I was thinking of. It's exactly what I wanted. And that's sort of Four Fires in general. There's a couple that I've probably talked to my friends about and been like, dude, fuck yeah, this is the one. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. You're gonna love it. And then obviously a bunch that were a bummer, but there are a couple that I liked. And I think the first one that I was super into was O'Hare to Logan Square. I would say that one was just really cool for me because I sort of have an infatuation with the city of Chicago, and I wrote that about a week I was in Chicago, and an actual experience that I had while I was on the train from O'Hare to Logan Square. So I think a lot of my stories in general are pretty much me just talking about whatever the hell happened for that given week. But that one in particular kind of struck home because it's sort of about this girl that I talked to like 2.5, 3 years ago now, which is crazy. But yeah, I just was talking about that actual experience, and then the way I felt 2.5 years later when I was actually there, and the things that were like, I was in the same places, and she's there in my head, and that was really fun. O'Hare to Logan Square. I'm gonna go, that's my favorite. Alright, so I'm not using Twitter as of right now. I was thinking about using it, but as of right now, my personal one is kind of the only one that's talking about it, and I don't even like to try and talk about it too much there, because I don't want to like come across as a guy that's just using his personal Twitter to talk about all the writing that he does. But my Instagram, I definitely go into it a little bit more. Every week I'll just kind of post like whatever story I wrote and just be like, this is week 9, 16, 24, 52. I'm looking forward to that one. With the like hashtag Four Fires. And that way you can kind of look at all the pictures at once. So like the hashtag is definitely one way to probably take a look at all the pictures. And beyond that, I'm on Weebly, which is like where my website is in general. So it's fourfires.weebly.com. And it's kind of just this simple website that I use, and it enables me to sort of write the story and put it out on some sort of way to give you a link to my Google document so that you can actually read the stories. So I would say Weebly and Instagram are probably the best locations for me. Yes, actually, a couple people have reached out to me, and I have to say, every single time, it has got to be like the coolest feeling ever that someone actually reached out to me and was like, wow, this story like touched on a lot of things that I'm dealing with, or this story was really cool, I like the way it was worded. I like dream of that being like something that happens often, and it actually did on the 4th week. So I have my email listed on my website, so like a good way to like talk to me about if you like a story. And someone texted me, emailed me, and was like, wow, that story Into the Black was really, really cool. You sounded like a writer I really like. And I was like, who the heck did that sound like? Because it was this sort of really rambunctious story. It was like super angry and dark. And he's like, you sounded a lot like Charles Bukowski. And I was like, I've never had anyone say that to me ever. And that was like the coolest thing that ever happened. And I don't even think I write a thing like Bukowski. But the fact that one week my voice kind of sounded like him. That was really, really cool. One of the things that I was most worried about as a writer going into this project was my voice. I felt like a lot of times I just kind of used my own voice, and I still definitely do that to an extent, and I actually like that I do that to an extent now. But I was really nervous that my voice didn't sound right. I feel like sometimes I was very informal, and then other times I was, really, really articulate and wordy, and sort of as this project's been going on, like at the halfway point, now I really feel like I kind of have an idea of what I want my narrators to sound like, and I feel like that's one of the biggest things that could ever happen as a writer, to actually finally finalize your own narrator voice. What's most challenging about this project? This is totally a setup question, isn't it? The main thing that's a challenge for Four Fires is hands down the fact that every Friday I have to hit the publish button, and whatever the hell that I wrote, typos and all, or anything, just ends up being posted to my website. And obviously, the more time a writer ever has, there are situations where you can go back and you can edit and you can make something sound right that sounded so totally wrong. And it's a bummer that I don't get the opportunity to do that with Four Fires, so that's definitely the hardest. Yes, there definitely is a story like that. So Racing Hearts and Contagious Laughter ended up being split into two parts because I was working so hard on that story. My friend Johnny wrote some of the coolest poems I have ever seen, ever, for that story for me, because I like to try and do as many collaborations as I can. Like, I try and bring my friends in, and Johnny is a really, really cool poet, so he wrote 5 different poems for me. And I used, I think, 3 of them in part 1, and it was just Friday. Like, I didn't have a choice, so I had to publish, and I split it in 2 parts. So it would have been really cool to have more time with that, but I think on this second half, I'm really looking forward to writing the second half, and the 2 poems left over have kind of been, like, percolating in my brain, and yeah, that one's gonna be sick. Yeah, there's definitely been stories where the 1 week timeline totally helped. So 1 week I was in Toronto, and I was on a couch, and I just, like, really, really, like, it was Saturday, so I had just finished a story, like, right before, like, that night, and I woke up super early before anyone else in the apartment did, and I knew that I needed to get a story done for the week, and I just sort of was like, wow, it'd be really sick if I got this done right away. And I sat down, and I literally wrote an entire story in one sit down. And I don't think that if I had this idea where, oh, I can take however long I want, I would have even sat down and wrote it. But because of that deadline, I just went for it, and that story probably is one of the most open and honest ones that I think I've written, and it was just about how I felt in that exact moment. So that one helped a lot. Yeah, I would say that the second half probably will be different. So at the beginning of this project, I sort of expected to write more narrator dialogue type, like novel type short stories. But as this thing has gone on more and more, I've written abstract pieces, I've written essays, and all sorts of different mediums for my stories. And as a result of that, because it's transformed from what I thought was going to be at the beginning to what it is at the halfway point, the end, I'm sure, will be way different than the halfway point too. So it's only a matter of time before I start finding something different that I want to work on from week to week. And as a result, every story is going to end up being so totally different. But that's sort of the point of the project. I think that's everything.
Think that'll do it?
I think that'll do it.
That's
a lot of stuff, right?
A lot of material.
This is hard.